Buddy. Had a bit of a false start there. Didn't realise Facebook Live was videoing me as I was preening. So I just deleted that. Yeah, look, we are now in the vortex of the full moon in Sag, which is, you know, exact tomorrow. It's a very special full moon. It's Wesak, which is the anniversary of Buddha's birth, and many claim that we receive a huge influx, a huge wave of light energies onto the earth plane at this full moon every year. Got energy of the archer, who's half human, half horse. And probably the most well-known centaur was the mythic spiritual teacher known as Chiron. Now, Chiron is often referred to as the wounded healer. Hi, Lauren. Hi, Paula. But Chiron, I see him more as the spiritual teacher. The archetype of Chiron, when he is empowered within us, whether we're, you know, physically male or female, he is the male archetype that resides in the throat chakra. And he helps us to heal by reframing our perceptions, starting with our perceptions of ourselves. And I did a live video on this, I don't know, a few days ago. So I've had some new insights that I wanted to share with you around that I thought could be really timely for your own journey, given that we've just come out of a few days of Moon in Scorpio, which is kind of like opening up a hornet's nest, a wound. You know, you've been feeling very emotional the last few days. I know I holed up in bed. You know, I happen to be bleeding with the Scorpio moon, which, you know, always a pleasure. Because it really takes you deep. It takes you right into your pain body. And the gift in that is then when we really confront what is unwounded or unhealed in us, then we can take full responsibility as the magician for, you know, transmuting that. And that's what this time is giving us. Yes, Sun in Gemini evokes, you know, the archetype of Hermes, who is the magi, the magician, the male archetype that sits in the third eye. This is our ability to use magic to direct energy with clear intention, to manifest our deepest soul desires, which is our greatest light. It's our destiny. It's what we've come here to do. So what gets in the way of that is our ego, our, you know, child self, the part of us that operates from the waist down, you know, solar plexus, sacral, and base. So the part of us that operates lower emotions and limiting thoughts. So the sort of 0 to 21-year-old. So this is a great, powerful window for this, you know, 3 days of today, tomorrow for exact full moon, and the day after. So this 3-day vortex of this Wesak full moon to literally transmute the old limiting beliefs that then create drama for us, old stories that stir up the old wounds. The way it works is this. So I'll just move my screen a bit so you can see my tummy. Hang on. Solar plexus is the energy center that sits here. It governs the lower mental plane. So it's between the heart and between the sacral, the belly. And this is where we have the 10% rational minds, you know, thoughts, the thought forms that we took on as kids from the set of circumstances we were born into, from what we observed in our parents, from what our direct experience was. We drew conclusions. And so when these things happened cyclically, repetitively, you know, this is how we learn. We learn through, you know, hey, you got to brush your teeth every day, you know. So too, we anchor debilitating beliefs in a cyclic way. Okay, it anchors that these illusions are true when they're not. It's just been our formative experience. And so when we move the energy up into the heart, we can observe the limiting thoughts that we have, so we don't have to invest our emotional energy into them. If we're unconscious as to, you know, the conditioned beliefs that are governing our responses, our energy descends down into our sacral, into our emotional center, and we start creating drama. We start, you know, reacting emotionally to what the perceived story is. Oh, you know, good things happen to other people, or, you know, whatever the limiting belief is. So I set out a very clear intention for the universe, given that I'm here on a tropical paradise island, to heal my Aphrodite. And that was, I wanted to clear all the blocks and obstacles that I was carrying that were stopping me from manifesting a truly sacred union, a union of, you know, equals who were both capable of seeing and owning their shadow and their light in complete honesty at all 7 gates, all 7 chakras, so that as a soul, I felt truly met on every level. Now, this is something I've written books about, it's something that I run retreats about, but I have not yet had the opportunity to really live it in this incarnation, although I definitely have remembrances of living that in past incarnations. So, you know, I understand that everything that is in my waking reality is a manifestation of my unconscious beliefs that are running me. So instead of going into victim and blaming others and, you know, I have the power to shift whatever obstructions are sabotaging that conscious intent. And I speak this, I share this nakedly with you, although I'm wearing a muumuu, because, you know, I understand that we're all in this together. We're all healing together. We're all healing these old thought forms that are anchored in the collective, you know, because we're all joined in that collective unconscious. And the more of us that transmute those old thought forms, the easier it is for everyone else. And we end up with, you know, the 11th monkey phenomenon, where then it just shifts in the collective. So, you know, positive Chiron teaches through one's own experience. So sharing transparently one's own wounds, one's own struggles, so that others may draw from that inspiration to apply to their own healing journey, their own empowerment. That is positive Chiron. That is what I'm seeking to do in my service with these videos, not just, you know, go on and on about my personal process and drama and drain you all. That is not the intention. I'm not that narcissistic. It's to be completely transparent in the hope that that serves the collective and you each individually in your own healing journey. So the shadow of Gemini, which is what the sun is moving through at the moment, as you know, we acknowledge this axis of full moon in Sag and sun in Gemini, because you can't ever look at one sign in isolation. It's part of an axis, if that's a word, axis. Anyway, so they act as a complement for each other. For instance, if Sag is really out of balance, our Sag energy, regardless of what bloody star sign you're born under, the idea is we journey around the wheel and we develop the strengths and own the shadow of all the signs. That's why I do this blog, to help people do that as a practice so that we can become whole, okay, rather than seeing ourselves as just one piece of the pie. So when Sag is out of balance, it actually swings into Shadow Gemini, and Shadow Gemini is allowing your smallest, most limiting thoughts to unconsciously run you. In other words, buying into the drama, and yeah, not accessing the higher mind, which is our innate universal intelligence, to direct our thoughts consciously. So the benevolent universe today had a video spring up on my computer. I can't remember what I was even... Oh, a notification came in. I went to YouTube to see what it was, and boom, up comes this video. And it was just bang on for what we are all experiencing right now. And that is 2 weeks ago at new moon, Uranus moved into Taurus. And this is the beginning of a 7-year residency, okay, a 7-year cycle. And Uranus is about energy. It's about our vibration, our frequency. So the message, and I wrote about this in the New Moon Astro Oracle, is whatever our frequency, our personal energy levels, we will attract a mirror in the hologram, okay, in life. So this is why, you know, if you're self-employed and you're working yourself into the ground, you're burning out, that's going to be reflected in the number of clients or customers that come to you, because your energy levels are low, so therefore that'll be reflected as low amounts of money. This is why in winter, when, you know, the energy levels are low because there's less solar light, people, you know, it's not just a matter of storing nuts for the winter. You know, people's finances can, particularly those that are, you know, working in businesses where they're not just, you know, getting a set wage every week, they'll find that they dip in winter. And it's a time for us to conserve our energy. This will really strike a chord with those of you in the southern hemisphere at the moment who are coming up to winter solstice, especially those that are far away from the equator. You'll really be feeling this. But so this video that came up, it was literally how to change your frequency to change your outer reality. Now, I know this is not a new concept, but by God is it timely, because Uranus in Taurus, the lesson of this for the next 7 years for us is open yourself to be a vessel for your highest divine providence, knowing that you deserve it because you are a divine being, okay? Now, we block that if we are carrying old limiting thought forms, and they're like entities, okay? Over time, they accumulate energy and they become dislodged in our energy field. They then can create, you know, aches and pains, stagnant energy, chronic illness. So, you know, we can clear these out of our bodies. And the video that I uploaded and shared with you all earlier today shows you very simply how to do that. And what it did for me was it acted as a, you know, as a muse for me to really go and open Pandora's box and go, right, let's acknowledge all the limiting beliefs that I have around men and around relationships with men. Since, you know, the clear intention I set out 2 weeks ago at New Moon was to call in a truly conscious sacred union with my opposite, so that I could journey on all levels with somebody in a path of mutual growth. And, you know, whatever we seed at New Moon has the opportunity to then, you know, flourish at full moon. But whatever intention we set will always bring up everything that is obstructing that, all of our saboteur around that. And this is when a lot of people then give up and go, oh, I never get what I want, oh, the universe sucks, and go back into the old story and affirm the old story. But if we push on and keep affirming what our clear intention is, then we see everything that's coming up as an aberration of that as a gift. Yeah, for instance, this is pretty full on. Last night a man tried to take me against my will. You know? Now, having been raped twice in my life, in my early 20s, yeah, I certainly did not see that as a blessing from the benevolent universe as it was happening. In fact, I got upset, I cried, I got angry. But unlike the previous two times when I was much younger, this time I was able to speak up on my own behalf, to set clear boundaries, and to be heard and understood. And so I changed what had happened in the past. So it's actually been healing. Yeah, I got multiple apologies. And I also was able to acknowledge my part in that dance and say I needed to have spoken up sooner, you know. So what I'm trying to say is that, you know, whatever happens, it is part of the universe answering our prayers, answering our sacred intentions that we are trying to seed, so long as we work with it as a gift rather than seeing it or fearing it as the opposite. So I'm going to share with you, what it was that when I went in and lifted the lid on my Pandora's box around my relationship issues, to quote Kath and Kim, what came up for me, because I'm betting chances are some of my sisters out there might be sharing the same Pandora's box. And yes, I'm wearing red and white, the colors of the magician, red being, you know, the sacred blood, the mother, white being the color of spirit and semen. So, you know, these are the colors worn by the magician, which is the higher expression of Gemini, since Sun is moving through Gemini, the Magi, you know, one who acknowledges they are a vessel for heaven and earth and can transmute their base metals into gold, or their base thoughts into true wisdom. So these were the beliefs that I held about men and relationships with men. And what I'm going to do is share with you, you know, like the antidote to the venom. So I've written in a belief to counteract each one of those. In the video link that I shared earlier today, she takes you through a process, very, I would say, at the top. And you go into that, you know, deep space nine feeling of oneness with source energy, and one by one you go through your list and you consciously delete each one of those sabotaging beliefs that you've held that are obstructing your clear intention, and then you consciously choose with gratitude, with love, with appreciation to anchor and seed the one that you are choosing to replace it. It's like deleting old programs, okay, on your hard drive, and downloading, upgrading the app, okay, the operating system. Okay, so welcome to my dysfunction. So the first one is men let you down. Okay, that was the first one. So my antithesis is I'm happy and grateful men now show up in my life. Second was they reject me, betray me, or hurt me, and I've replaced that with I'm thankful and grateful men choose me, honor me, and love me. I've put and I've replaced that with I'm happy and grateful men praise. Men aren't able to truly see and appreciate me for who I am. And I replaced that with I'm happy and grateful men now see and appreciate me for who I am. I've put men choose other women. And I replaced that with the man who is my divine complement now claims me as his beloved partner. I had men see me as too difficult, too intimidating, and too much. And all of this, for me, was anchored in my relationship with my dad, but then it played out as an echo with men ever since. So I've replaced that with men see me as fascinating, gracious, and understanding. The old belief was men run away from me. I've replaced that with Men are now attracted to me and step forwards to greet me. In of there's quite a few, so bear with me. But I hope some of these resonate with you, and that you go, yeah, I think that one resonates. I think that one. Because the more, as a collective sisterhood, that we take these out, it's like psychic surgery out of our collective thought form, the more we're going to shift that old patriarchal paradigm, and really enjoy this 7-year cycle of more love, more pleasure. I'll just finish the... Don't take responsibility for themselves as an old limiting belief. And I've put men are now stepping up and taking responsibility for themselves. I had men don't do the work and look at themselves and learn from their choices and past relationships. And I've replaced that with men are now doing the work, processing what's been triggered in past relationships, resulting in healing, empowerment, new choices and behaviors. I had sitting in my subconscious, the good men are taken and aren't available to me. And I've replaced that with the man who is destined to be my life partner is available to me on every level of his being. Hi to those of you joining me from around the world. If you wonder what the hell I'm talking about, I'm just sharing with you all the dysfunctional beliefs that I've had running in my psyche and my subconscious about men and being in relationship with men, and then the thought forms that I'm choosing to replace that with. And there's a video link which I posted today on the Moon Woman page, which shows you how to do this, to complete this process. And that would be most powerful to do within really the next 48 hours as the moon waxes to full. I've had the belief I'm not in an environment where men can find me. And I've replaced that with I'm now visible and accessible to honourable men. I had the belief spiritual men are flaky and unreliable. And I've replaced that with spiritual men are present and reliable. I had the belief men who see me lack the confidence to pursue me. And I've replaced that with men who see my essence have the confidence to initiate communications with me. I had the belief men lack the awareness to initiate a conscious courtship. And I've replaced that with more men are desiring and offering conscious courtships to connect soul to soul with prospective partners, including me. I had put most men are seeking to be mothered or fear being smothered. And I've replaced that with I'm happy and grateful more men are nurturing their needs so they're more available for balanced partnerships. I had the belief running men aren't attracted to my body type, and I've replaced that with I'm happy and grateful men appreciate my curves and my soft womanly body. And I had the belief men see me as a teacher, not a lover. And so I'm happy and grateful my qualities inspire great love to be expressed to me. So that's what I'll be going in and shifting in the middle of the cosmic womb, using the quick technique that's presented in the link that's but I was so inspired. I then went on to do the same for the limiting beliefs that I've held in relation to success in my career. So I'm going to do that on that as well, because why not? You know, the ancients understood that the natural vortices of full moon, of, you know, the seasonal festivals like equinoxes and solstices, were the optimal time for us to raise our frequency and to our truly divine life, our divine potential here in the material realm. So I hope that's been an inspiration for you. If you're wondering what the hell I was talking about, bleating about all my dysfunctional stuff, just watch the beginning of the video for a bit of context. All right. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you, Sue. Thank you, Angela. It's, yeah, I put you all in my gratitude prayers every day, and yeah, just thank you for you know, us all healing this, intending to spend my day doing this mysteries, but you know, sometimes your own process just eclipses you, and it's like, all right, I have to make this the priority. This actually is more important than anything, and the time is now. We're now in the vortex of this full moon, so you know, this is the time of power to shift this. So blessings. May you all transmute all the limitations that have held you, leading a smaller version of the true pleasure, the true abundance, and the true love that is your divine providence. Blessings. I do a heart salutation, but I'm holding the laptop. Ciao for now.